because there are not many people, I would like Mazi first to introduce herself, and then Jenny, and then everybody will introduce himself or herself shortly. Mazi, but you have more space now, more floor, so take your time. We are all listening to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will begin with saying thank you, a special thank you to you, Shlomo Shoam. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for being my
Okay.
friend. Thank you for believing in me and seeing me truly. It gives me a lot of joy. Also to work with you and also to be a part of this family. I'm falling in love every time with someone else, someone on the team, someone in the course. Right, Jenny? Dear Isabel, thank you also for your always warm words and welcome. It's amazing. So here I am. I have no idea what I'm gonna say. Um, I think I'll share with you that I always thought that I was missing out on something. And everybody was, mm, I don't know, very much aligned with what they wanted to do, and they were doing it. And I never knew. I had no idea. And I kept uh, changing my profession, looking for something that I didn't find. And it took me a while, but then I looked at it in a different way. I understand that I'm what people call multi-potentialite, meaning I have a lot of potential of doing all sorts of things. If it's designing, if it's programming, everything. But the most joy I have, I always say that there's a lot of joy in the world that I'm living at the moment. But one of the biggest joys for me is to expand in all sorts of ways, in learning, in uh, progressive, progressing in my path, exploring, and I think I'm like a traveler in all sorts of spaces, also in uh, my profession and also in my mind and in my heart. So I'm still exploring being here, exploring being other types of me, and I'm loving it. And thank you again, Shlomo, for this opportunity. I love you
Thank you.
all.
Okay. I hope we will explore you as well, but it will take some time. I myself don't know, but we will see. Thank you so much, Mazi, for coming with us and helping SGLA so much. You're really professional, and I know also that you're a great teacher. So I decided that this is a time that you will join us, not only on the managing part, practical part, but also as a teacher. And I'm very happy that you are here. I think this is an amazing chance for us to learn from you, and maybe the opposite. I'm not sure, but maybe you can learn from each and every one here. Thank you. Okay, now Jenny, the floor is yours.
I'm so grateful to be here. I've been with SGLA since October and just it feels like it's connected like a lot of the dots of the last 25 years of my spiritual journey. And it continues, and I continue to learn and just feel love every time. And during this time, it's so important to feel that love and connect with that love. And yeah, just feel like I'm going to like have my soul family. And I think the toughest part for me on the spiritual journey has been the people I've needed to walk away from to set boundaries, because I have that like nostalgia and see the best in everyone. So it's been a little lonely, you know, and I'm like a Leo. I love a lot of people around me. So it's been a little lonely. So I feel like it's like a coming home to family. So I am so grateful to be here. I've been teaching, mentoring, doing workshops, facilitating readings for the last over 20 years, but I'm always learning. I learn every day. I learn from every person, and just really want to know that this program can help me, you know, in so many different ways, in ways I can't even imagine. So I'm just excited for the journey and feel very, very blessed to be here. Thank you, Shlomo.
Thank you, dear Julie. Thank you very much for being with us. I know that we can learn from you and you can also learn from us, I'm sure. And more, you know, in this group, we have registered like 45 people, but we have been around 13, 14 people who are coming every lesson because I decided that this will be an ongoing course. After 18 months, you can do your work and then you can get the certificate from us, but we will come to this later. So now when I'm looking at each other here, first of all, I want to share with you, the newcomers, that we share a lot of intimacy, because, you know, to be with somebody, even on Zoom, for so many years, you know a lot about everybody. And much more than that, the connection, even if it's in Zoom, the physical connection in the cells, it is something that happens. And now I can see you, I can almost feel what you feel. I will not go into what I see in everybody here because I see and I feel, but I want to hug all of you. I want you to take a deep breath. Yes, Bonnie, you too, and be with us. And I will share with you what I'm going through, and this will be also the lesson today. So first of all, the place that I'm living, it's near the airport in Israel. So we are now, in the last 2, 3 days, more than 50 alarms, sirens we have gone through. So if a siren will come and I'll have to leave, the teacher today is Abby Schuster. So Abby will teach anyway the second hour. And if I'll have to stop, I'll leave you the reading, Abby. I know it will be better than hearing me as well, but I'll leave it to you. And you will do it. Yes, I'm really serious. And that's for now before I begin the lesson. I feel like we have 2 minutes. Everybody will say his or her name and introduce yourself to Mazi and to Jenny, but please do it very short, like 1 sentence, 2 sentences. Elizabeth will be the first.
Nice to meet you. I'm Elizabeth Røiseth, as you can see on the screen. I live on a tiny island in the Oslo fjord in Norway. I'm really pleased to meet you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yeah, hi, Mazi and Jennifer. Welcome. I've been with Shlomo on some of these courses and Isabel and a bunch of other people here for the last year or so. And happy to be here every week, and I just appreciate being here with you guys. It's a great honor, and I feel connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Caroline.
Hello, Mazi. Lovely to see you again, and Jennifer, to meet you, and welcome to our soul family. I consider it to be our soul family, that we grow in love together through truth and wisdom compassion, love, peace, and that all brings us joy. So happy to see you both and to have you today with us. And Shlomo, great to see you too. And so sorry that you are having to deal with the war in the Middle East, in Israel, etc. But great to be here.
Thank you, dear. Isabel.
So I'm Isabel and Mazi and Jenny, you know me. Welcome to our eternal family. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Abby.
Oh, welcome, Mazi and Jenny. You stepped into one of the most wonderful places you can possibly be. I came here in the spring of 22. My life was totally insane and very troubling. And the safety that I feel here, the sense of family and intimacy, the ability to explore everything in my past, so there's nothing that I'm afraid of anymore. And it's just like, I know what it's like to walk away from family, and it's a miracle that they're coming back. And it's because of everything that I've got from here to be me and not hide me. Because when I hid me, nothing worked. So,
Thank you,
welcome.
dear. Thank you. Thank you. Bonnie.
Hello, everyone. Good morning from California. Welcome, Jenny and Mazi. We've met before. Welcome, ladies. I am so thrilled to have you here with us. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Caroline said and what Abby said. We are a family. Welcome to our family. And I heard this great word today, and I want to share it with you. Instead of having a relationship, like we have a relationship with our relations, this is more of an relationship, because we're elated to be together, right? Isn't that a fun word? Yes. So welcome to your newest relationship.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. Robin.
So good to see you both here with us. And Bonnie, I heard the same Esther Hicks. I'm imagining that's what it was yesterday, where he said that a woman he knew defined relationship as relationship because it should be uplifting, right? That's crazy synchronicity and cool. So, and that's what I find here is that we're all like raised from the same sun. And Abby, I loved every word you said just before. I love every word everyone says. And I have my stories, but I don't hold on to them or define myself by them or get caught up in the drama of them anymore, thanks to the more than 2.5 years I've been here. It's so regulating.
Thank you, Mika. Thank you so much. Now it came to me, so I'll say, I think Irving should begin to do SGLA courses. I saw him, I think, in the Facebook or something. So I think it will help a lot. Just one sentence to him. I feel lots of love to him. I don't know why, but I feel it's amazing. He's drawing so much love. I'll say to Jenny and Mazi that Robin just got married. And we had this marriage also here. And so this what came to me now. We'll talk about it, later. Maybe we can talk via Zoom. Great. Next one, Carlos.
Hello, everyone. Mazi and Jenny, welcome to this family. I am from Mexico City, and I am very grateful for be part of SGLA. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this family.
Thank you, dear Carlos. Petrina.
Welcome, Mazi and Jenny. I echo everything everybody's already said, and what both of you said, the expansion and the putting the dots together, just it's that's for me, that's what it's all about. And just blessings and welcome. I look forward to this every week for the elation part of it. I get excited, and sometimes it's hard to contain myself. So thank you for being here, everyone. I love you. And thank you, Shlomo. Bless you. Bless you. You've been my prayers and my thoughts and my love, sending it lots and lots and lots to you. So thank you.
Bonnie, now you have to explain what is relationship.
When you're in a state of elation, when you're elated, it's like the happiest that you can be. And so when we're together, that's what we feel. So this is an elationship.
Okay, now I got it. Thank you. Okay, so here we are, and I decided to teach you a lesson today, which is kind of a new way of looking at things that we all know, and we all were teaching them and learning them, but it's something that we didn't see all the time. It is about stress and about relaxation, and we know the science of it and everything. But what I realized that sometimes we all, and especially me in this time as well, have this kind of stress underneath, and we don't even see it or pay attention to it, and it ruins our lives. And sometimes we are not aware. So the question is how to be aware of the stress and how to look inside each and every moment and see what is there in order to release it. So this will be the lesson of today. Because I see myself, I'm going to the shelter. Today I was lying in the shelter and I fall asleep. And I slept very, very good, for a few hours. It was like amazing healing for me. But I realized that there is always something there underneath that we don't pay attention to it, and it kills us at the end of the day. So the question is how to see it and how to go into it, and we'll do some short meditation. And I asked AI to give me the answer according to what he knows, because I gave him already my book and my teachings as well. So he knows more about me. I told him, listen, what do you think should be the lesson that we have to tell, that we have to teach in how to find out the stress within us? And I dedicated to Isabel. This lesson is just for you, dedicated to you, but we all will learn from it. Because me and Isabel, we are like one, and we are very much connected. And Isabel began to worry because, when you see things in the news and you think that Shlomo is now under missiles, and there are many nice missiles here, I can say, but most of the time I share the pictures of looking at the sky now. For example, I'm looking at the sky, you cannot see it, in my garden, and there are no missiles now. So most of the time there are no missiles. And most of the time, all the time, it's not as dangerous as driving in Israel. Because if you see how many people were killed in Israel, you can see that even for me, I was going to buy, things to the supermarket, going there with the car and coming back home with the car, especially when the people from the bus drivers and all, they are very stressed. It is really more dangerous. And today, just a friend of mine sent me that it was a car accident out of the anxiety. Somebody was driving, and then a siren, and then it's really like automatic pilot when we hear the sirens. And when I look backward, since the time I was born in this country, and I saw many wars, that there is a automatic connection between hearing the sirens and feeling in my belly like this contraction. So I decided that I will share with you today the lesson, how to see the stress, how to feel it, and how to let go. Very simple. Hopefully, we'll learn some new things out of it that are connected to what we all know, but it's really, really important to understand it because it's life saving. So, because we are a family, I didn't create a very nice presentation, but I want to show you the presentation so we can see. So, the question is how to recognize stress in real time and how to reach deep calm in the most efficient and rapid way. So, it's very, very practical teaching today. Are you with me, Petrina? Are you there? Okay. So the introduction, one moment, I'll make it, you can see it in the full page. Petrina, are you back? I cannot talk when you are not there. So we know, all this we know. It is nervous system evolved for short dangers. Tiger, when you see a tiger, there is a stress, and then you have a lot of adrenaline in your blood, and then you're escaping, and then you relax. If you saw, for example, a deer, after the tiger was chasing her, 1 minute, 2 minutes after the chase is finished and tiger didn't get the deer, you know, you can see it in the nature movies. What happened? The deer is making this kind of shaking a little bit, and then very, very quietly, very calm, kind of a tranquilizer, as if she took some tranquilizer. She's standing there and she's eating the grass. Mainly because the deer doesn't have the understanding of the future. If it happened to us, what we would do is that we will go straight to the psychiatrist and ask him to help us because we were afraid of tigers, afraid of lions, afraid of cars, afraid of. I had a small car accident like a few months ago, and still sometimes when I go to this place, over this place, I feel this feeling that maybe this kind of thing will happen again. And all my teachings began by trying to transform the fear of the future to the better seeing desired future. So from the fear of the future that mainly some of the Zen teachers are teaching a lot to be here and now and not to be in the future. What I realized, it was many years ago in my book, I wrote it and even before, the moment you look at the future as your paradise, at that very moment, there is no fear of the future, and the opposite. The present becomes more happy. Anna Maria, you look like a nun. Okay. So this is, yes. Maybe you should give your clothes to Isabel. He was looking like this, Isabel?
No, I dressed normally.
Hello, Shlomo. Hello, everybody. Sure.
Hello again. Okay. So this what I asked him also to do is based on science, but I will keep it simple. So modern life keeps the stress system active for hours or years. It's not like this way when you are in the forest and the tiger is chasing you and then there is a lot of adrenaline, you can run away. It is totally something else in our lifetimes. Even if we think that we are very calm and very relaxed and no stress at all, The truth is that is always some kind of stress within us. Some of it is healthy even, but some of it is too much. So how we recognize it, how we know what is it and how it works. So here he's trying to frighten us. I will go very quickly on this. All these diseases that you see, I don't like to say this and to give the name for the diseases, but we know that we are reducing our immune function. We have anxiety and depression and impaired memory and decision making. And the brain effect, this is amazing. Robert Sapolsky, he shows chronic stress can shrink the hippocampus, affecting memory and learning. So you can less learn when you are stressed. So for example, I'm playing chess. And now sometimes when I am in the shelter, just to enjoy the time, or I'm playing chess. But I realized when I'm in the shelter playing chess, I'm not as good as when I'm outside. Because there is some kind of stress that I don't even know it, I don't even feel it, I don't even see it. And I decided not to not to play chess now because I get some scores, so all my scores are going down now because of the stress. So this is important to understand that there is some kind of stress that comes unknowingly. We don't feel it, but it's there. So how we see it, how we recognize it, and how we go beyond this, important. So stress activates the sympathetic nervous system. We know adrenaline, cortisol, faster heart rate, shallow breathing. This is important, and muscle tension. So if I'll ask you now to stop now, here and now, don't do anything, just stop and close your eyes and look inside your body. And when you look inside your body, tell me, what do you feel and where do you feel there is still stress in your body? Now, it's easy to see it. I'll give you some signs. The first thing, as you know, I'm doing it. I want you to touch your masseter. Masseter is this muscle. When you close your jaws, you have a masseter. Just touch it now and tell me if your masseter is relaxed. Boni, yes or not? Yes, okay. So now open your mouth and just do this, all of us. Put this and we just push this part of the fingers, this part of the fist here, and push it a little bit and make a sound and make it bigger. Even if it hurts, go for it. Take a deep breath. And again. And now I want you to caress your face and relax your jaw. And tell me if you feel more relaxed now in your jaws when you open your mouth. And this was the reason, Bonnie, that I wanted you to do it, because I felt in your face, and it looks like you didn't feel it. Now, even your face has changed. Your mouth is more open, your jaw is more relaxed, and just by this little thing, you see that there is some kind of stress that you are not aware of. Yes, if we go all the way now, do like a session, psychological session, and we see what is there and all this, but we don't go through the mind and we don't go through even not these ways of therapy that are more logical. And so just when we touch the body and we go straight to the body, we can feel. And if we were together, like we have been in the retreat with Bonnie, for example, and I will do it, and I'll ask you to scream and to go all the way, then Elizabeth will tell you as well, she was good in it. And then you will see that something is relaxing even when you're not paying attention. So this is important to understand that there is stress. Sometimes even we don't even think about it. So what we do with this, how we go beyond, how we train our mind, our brain to be better, how we present more. All this comes from the same way of looking inside and relaxing. So this is the reason that I think all of us are doing our meditation day, our meditation sessions every day, are doing our exercises or whatever, because we know that it's important. But what I realized that in this time, for example, for me and maybe for Mazi as well here, the sirens and everything. So we have to be able to do it regularly, whenever we are together, whenever I come to the shelter and I'm not alone, I'm alone. Because if I'm not alone, I cannot move and scream and do things. But if I'm alone, I can do more. Okay, just simple way to look at it. So we have muscle tension. Yes? If I'll ask you how are you stressed now? Do this. Are you stressed now? Okay. Mazi? Okay, so now a simple exercise, you know it. Let's bring our shoulders to our ears. Let's do like this. Take a deep breath, hold it, and hold your breath. Hold, 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 hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold, and let go. Let's do it again. Hold it, 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 and let it go. Now pay attention when you put this muscle tension and you do it again, we'll do it again. Let's see. And you hold your breath and give it some time. 1, 2, 3, hold. And let go. And now move your head. And I'll tell you what I feel and see if you're feeling the same. I feel goosebumps. I feel the energy comes up. I know, Bonnie, that you feel the same. And it comes up. And then I feel like this vibration, the energy comes. And it shows me very easily that even before, when we thought that we are very calm and relaxed, there was still tension there. For me, I know, I think it's for everybody, but the moment I live my life in a way that I am in a war, even not knowing anything, and I'm here, you know, in Israel, I'm giving a lot of sessions now to relax people. Just by doing this, I realize that there is a tension all the time in my shoulders, in my neck, and also it comes to the fog in the brain. I can feel it. So just doing this when you are doing whatever, even after the meditation work, sometimes even when you are teaching, sometimes I don't know if you pay attention when I'm teaching, I'm doing this and I'm relaxing. And there are many other ways to relax it, but these are something just to show you how it works. And it works. So we have to be aware that we are stressed most of the time. Hello, Annie. Welcome. Annie, are you stressed now?
No, not stressed, but a little disappointed that my computer wasn't working when I wanted it to. So I'm happy to be here. Sorry for my tardiness.
Welcome, welcome. So do this now with us together. Take your shoulders to your ears. Finish to do this. The computer is okay now? Okay, let's do this. Take a deep breath again. Deep breath, deep, deep. Take more air, more air, more air. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. One. See that easily we can come into this peacefulness in a way just by doing this. Do you feel it any? I know that you are flying now, but okay, so let's go on a little bit just to give some food for the mind. So this is what happens in the body. So all what is written here, it's very known to all of us. So the parasympathetic system and the vagus nerve, at the end of the day, we work with the vagus nerve, control relaxation, healing, digestion, and cellular renewal. When we talk about the digestion, if you remember, when I began to teach you about full body synchronicity, I said that there are more neurons in our bellies, in our digestion system, than in the heart or in the brain. More neurons there. So digestion, if you see, it really very much affected by this stress. So we want to calm this system. Very simple. And at the end, as you know, it comes to the cellular renewal. We want to renew our cells by doing these exercises of relaxing. Now the question is why we often miss stress, why we don't see and we don't feel that we are in stress. We wake up in the morning, we bless God, everything's okay, we feel gratitude, we are healthy, more or less, let's say. So why don't we miss stress? Why we don't feel that there is stress in the body? So the main thing that I wanted to bring to you today is stress becomes a normal state. Knowingly or unknowingly, we live our life with much more stress that is normal. And then we think normal is to have stress. Do you understand what I say? Do you know it? Do you feel it? That sometimes this is our normal way. You wake up in the morning. I realize, I have many examples for you, but one of them was when I was riding bicycles. So when I went to ride the bicycles, what I did, the first thing I did is to think what are the places that I have to watch myself more, that they are more dangerous. On one hand, it looks great. But on the other hand, I was giving power to the places that I was afraid more. So the moment you think that you give power to the fear, at that very moment, this is something that you are creating stress in your body. I was running today. I went to run. I thought, how much I have to run in order to be able, when siren comes, to reach home to the shelter. Makes sense. It's needed. I have to do it. But after looking inside and deciding where I'm running, my mind began to work more and more about, yes, this is okay, this is not okay, this is dangerous, it's not dangerous. Because yesterday I was running and then I had a siren and I had to run speedy, very speed, another kilometer. So after running, I ran only 5 kilometers yesterday, but like after running 4 kilometers, and then you have to run really running from the fear, from the danger. It is a stress in the body while you are running. So all these, our patterns, we have to understand. Our patterns is to think what is danger for us and then to go on. Yes, we have to think what is dangerous for us because I don't want us to jump from, I don't know, 30th floor down. because this is also danger, and we don't want to avoid seeing what is dangerous or not. But the moment you see it, we have to be aware to let it go immediately. And I know wherever I feel that my mind is bringing me this, this OCD thing that, yes, again and again, again, the same thought, I'm stopping myself and I'm even talking to myself to say, let go, let go, let go. And then I'm finding something which can be the stupidest thing in the world to think about it and to let go of this kind of thing. It's important. It sounds crazy, but this is what to do. I was running today and I saw that it came to me again. So I said, okay, I see a lavender there. So I'll think about lavender. And I'm thinking about lavender, and already my body began to run better. Already my mind released, already my heart released. So it is something that at the end of the day, we have to work with it all the time. But I don't want to tell you this because then this also will stress you, that you have to think how to let go of the stress. So this is a vicious circle. Yes, so when you came back, huh? So I know. It's a Jewish thing, my dear. So the thing, I will not go into these Jewish stories, but the thing is to remember that we are stressing ourselves and to tell this monkey mind, relax, relax. Don't fight with your monkey mind. Because it will come back. You know the story of the Buddha, that they asked Buddha how you can be enlightened. So he said to the guy, it's easy. You just don't think about white monkeys for 3 days. He said, for me, it's easy. I never thought about white monkeys. But then the white monkeys came to him from the roof, from the windows, from everywhere. So to tell you not to think about stressing things, we will bring them. But what we can do, which is important, is on the spot when something comes to us and we see that we think this thought comes to us again and again. First of all, all of you are teachers. So all of you know how to meditate and how to create the gap between us and the thoughts. We did every meditation almost. We begin with standing on the seashore, looking at the waves and creating the gap. So the moment you understand that you are not your thoughts, there is always a gap there. And at that very moment, you can really totally relax. Capiche? Understood? It's easy because we do it. It's our work, but I just want to highlight some things and how we can see that there is still some stress and how we can see that we can do the work we know to do, how to do it. And one of the things that it's important, don't listen to the news. Because I dedicated to Isabel. Can I share the story now, Isabel, or not?
Yes, you can.
Isabel, she really loves me, I must say. She was worried. And she knows that my most peaceful place is in Cyprus, in Paphos. And all of a sudden, she was really relaxed and everything. No, all of a sudden, she saw, before this, she saw on the news that in Paphos, in the same city that I have an apartment in Cyprus, there was a bomb or a missile or something. But it was only once and it was far away from our place, but it was also. So she called me or she wrote to me, please take care, please take care. This kind of being worried doesn't help her and doesn't help me. Because when she gives me some information, I was today in the shelter. And when we are in shelter, we hear the bombs, and then we got the results. We hear the bomb, and then everybody in Israel, everybody speaks with everybody all the time. They say, oh, here the missile landed, or something, it was an explosion. people were hurt. Not many people were hurt, as I told you before. A lot less than in a regular way in car accidents, because people are not driving now. Most of the people are staying at home. So there are less car accidents. So it is really amazing. But the moment you say it, just saying it, there was a bomb. It was near to Shlomo's house. Da 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 da. This itself creates tension within us.
Sorry, I didn't say there was a bomb. I said the Paphos airport was evacuated. I didn't say there was a bomb because I didn't even hear a bomb. What I understood was just
No,
Paphos airport was evacuated for safety.
That's right. You are right, and there was not a bomb there.
The bomb is your addiction to what I said.
Maybe.
You can see the message. But of course, I was worried. I mean, it is strange not to worry with someone you love. Is someone here, if you feel there is something like this and there is someone you love nearby and you say, no problem, everything is peaceful? No, we worry with the people we love. Of course, we can imagine peace and light and everything, but we worry. This is the natural thing. I don't worry with the ones that I don't know. I may send light and love to them, of course, because they are human beings and we are all one family. But of course, we worry the most with the ones we love. So do you. So.
No. Wait a minute. I want you to look at what Petrina wrote now in the chat. Look at in the chat, and I totally believe I'm thinking the same like Bruce, in many things. Also, don't mentioning diseases, name of diseases and everything. He says something it's kind of a negative prayer. It doesn't mean that you want me to be hurt, not at all. But out of your love, when the Paphos airport was evacuated, it frightened you. I can imagine. And this something, or you're afraid that I will fly to Paphos and something will happen to me. These kind of things. Never mind. I will not go into it. But worry itself, for me, it's not taking care. Taking care means totally other thing. That even when you say something, you look how it will affect the other. And when you look how it will affect the other, then you say or not say it. And sometimes, okay, what do you want to say? I'm listening.
Of course, I know worry is negative, but who in here can raise the hand and say we don't worry, no matter how much we know it is negativity?
Accept me because I'm a perfect person.
It is just natural. The thing is, how long time do you stay in the worry? This is the point, as with any emotion. Am I in fear 24 hours a day? Or it happens that suddenly I am in fear and then it goes away. So at that moment, I worried like I worry with other things, but then it goes. I'm not stuck in the worry. So the point is, when we love people, we worry. When we don't care, we just move on and we live our ways. So it's really natural to worry, but not to be stuck in the worriness. It is different. This is the difference. So I was shocked because I saw Paphos airport was evacuated, but I know you couldn't fly there because you told me that the airport in Israel was closed. So anyway, okay. Sorry to worry.
What we can learn from this lesson is that I love you and you love me, and that's great. Yes, Elizabeth, what do you want to say?
I think we also receive worry on another level as well. So the way I look at it is we're not as we're not separate. We're not as separate as we imagine. So you can also then not necessarily know that this worry that you have is your own, or So you can transmute this worry as well if you know how, which obviously we're learning. So I don't think it's always as simple as we like in the mind to make it very, very boxed in and simple. It's my experiences is very complex.
Okay, so now you took me out of what I wanted to teach, but I will say a few things about it. You know this my story. My mother was in Auschwitz. Then she decided to create her desired future. She came to Israel, and since she is here, we have wars. Almost all my life there were wars. Sometimes closer to each other, sometimes not. Sometimes the peace between the wars were great, many years. Sometimes no. I know that this is part of my path, even if you want my spiritual path. It's not something that comes to me and I think it's all bad and I have to run away from it or something like that. It's not this. Always, when we have these kind of things coming to our lives, we have to look at it and see what is the lesson we came to learn. And I will not go into the lesson now because we don't have much time as well, but I want to share with you that always, 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 the moment, even when I'm in a shelter and there are many bombs around, the moment I can take a deep breath and look from above of what is going on here now and looking for the past, mostly for the future, I know that there is a path that I have to create here and that is beyond what really happens in front of my eyes. This is important, and this gives me kind of a faith that nothing gonna happen to me, and if I have to die, I will die. So this, we did that meditation a few times, and this is important to understand. Wherever I feel kind of a fear, and I'm not talking about real, anxiety, just a fear. Even I think yesterday, I just looking inside and I said, okay, I don't remember who was it who wrote that every time he has the death on his left shoulder, and when something is striking him, he is asking me this, it is a time? So I said, if it is a time, I can relax. If it's not a time, for sure I can relax. So just by dealing with the death, the fear of death, because underneath, especially in wars, is the fear of death. That you will die, that people that you love will die, that you will be hurt, that you will be, etc., etc. So the moment I look inside and I see that this is part of the lesson I'm going through my life, all of a sudden relaxation comes. All of a sudden you see the big picture, and then you can see beyond. And I will not give you the whole lecture now about what's going on between the nations here and why it is here and what happened. But I know for sure that there is a reason, a highest reason for all what happening now. And the best way is to connect to your faith and to relax and to take it as something that you came here to learn in this lifetime. And this is, for me, the way to see everything. And the moment I see this, at that very moment, these little thoughts about what's going to happen to me, I'm going to be hurt, all these kind of things, is disappearing. The moment I can look at it from above, at that very moment, every worries are disappearing. Because at the end of the day, if you are ready to get what is supposed to be the worst, and you say, okay, even if the worst comes, that's okay. When I was running and I thought maybe the missile will come just on my head, I imagined it. I was looking at it and I said, okay, maybe I'll dog my head a little bit or whatever. And if not, not. So the moment I'm connected to myself and present in this, maybe next week we will continue with this lesson. presence is one of the best ways to relax yourself. When you put your feet on the ground and you say, I am connecting heaven and earth through my body, and I'm totally present here and I'm focused on what is happening in front of my eyes, at that very moment, the fears are disappearing, or at least they become very shallow. So the moment the fears are disappearing, at that very moment, I can connect to myself, I can give love to myself, to my beloved ones. And at that very moment, something totally else is happening in a new dimension. And I want to thank Elizabeth for bringing it now. Yes, what we did until now was on another level, but it's also important to see the levels. Yes, Robin.
I wanted to piggyback on what Elizabeth said about separation and how that, and that we're not really so separate. And I wanted to say that that's what Isabel was saying as well, when it's about someone we love, because we don't feel the separation. Because whatever's happening to you is happening to us, and whatever affects you is going to affect us. So it's that very fear you're talking about right now at looking from above. And you had me ask this question to myself when I was talking to you about, is this a good decision I'm making? Am I safe? And you said to me at that moment, well, what's the worst that could happen? And can you handle it?
You remember?
I remember. And thank
easy
you.
moment.
It was, and that's the question, I think. And even when you were talking about your run yesterday, I was remembering your run at another time with another siren where you ended up with a family you ended up needing to be with because you gained something and you gave something. In the house you ended up having to take shelter in. Do you remember that?
Yes. And I can tell you that war is a great teacher.
So is my son.
It's touching, and especially for one who was born in this country and all my life, when I hear sirens and everything, I feel this automatic pilot. So to look why it is there, what I feel, and what is the reason it came to me now, at that very moment, something totally different happens in the body.
Right. What good is going to come of this? What good can come of this? The way my mother used to say, well, what good is it? What good is it? And I hear that sometimes, but when you were talking about the stress, I was going, of course he is today, because Irving started taking Adam to school in the morning. And all of a sudden I can hear myself think, all of a sudden it relieved this stress. And I felt relaxed today, like as if I had just had a spa treatment and it was right before signing on here. And I'm going, wait, that little bit of removing that little burden of driving in the traffic, of rushing and of going and of racing, that it's like when you wear shoes that are too tight and you forget that they're too tight and they're hurting you until you take them off. And then when you put them back on, you're like, oh, or somebody steps on your toe and stays there until they get off. You don't realize what you're holding on to. So this was a really good lesson, and I hope you do more next week.
Okay, I'll finish today by a story because you mentioned it. Remind me this. That one guy came to his rabbi and said, at home it's too many people. It's crowded. We are 7 people in one room. You know this. So the rabbi said, okay, now what you have to do is to bring your goat into the same room. And it was really horrible, and they were suffering. So after a month, he came to the rabbi and said, what to do? It's now worse. He said, yes, but now you take the goat out and you will feel how much place you have in this room. Thank you all. I give the floor to Abby Shukster. I'm very happy that you are my family. It's not for granted, my dear friends. And I'm very happy that sometimes you are worried for me. But it is, at the end, as I said before, not but, I'm very happy that you are voting for me. Let's see the lesson behind it. Thank you. I will stop
Thank you.
now because I have to prepare the other course and I'll come in, let's say 45 minutes. Thank
Say
you.
before you go, thank you for creating this family. I I feel like I don't know what to say. Because Shlomo, I was going to talk about stress and trauma, but I still can. It'll be different. I've been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks, and I have these brilliant conversations in my head. And this time I said, I'm going to prepare and I'm going to write it down. So I started writing everything down. And 2 days ago, I was practicing with someone and I can't read my writing and none of it makes sense. And I realized I don't know what happens when I write. It doesn't make any sense later, or else it's so brilliant, I don't know who wrote it. In this case, I can't make any sense of it, but I'm going to respond first to a couple things that you said about the stress in the modern life. I think the problem is the way it's set up, the construct that it's set up in, with constantly being afraid of one thing or another, like the news, it never stops. It's coming from the outside, it's not coming from our inside. And we've been conditioned to think that that's normal. And what that drives us to is distractions and addictions. And, so people watch TV, that's both an addiction and a distraction. So we get used to the stress in the background because of the distractions. And then when it comes up, we go to addictions. So it's not a healthy way to be. And it's really important, like you say, to get the lesson from it, because I believe that's the way to freedom, is to really take a deep dive and not to be afraid of it and to go into it and see what is. There's a whole bunch of things. So that part I can get into. So first of all, I'm going to say I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't know, because all the information is out there. You can tap into it whenever you need to. You've had a lot of it in your childhood and you put it to the side because for some reason you thought it wasn't important. But we're going to go back and we're going to sort of uncover all of that so that you have access to the parts that you've hidden. And I know this is like a big, big saying, but you've been doing all the groundwork. And this is what I've realized in the last couple of months. Like, we are all connected. I've been thinking of this for 2 weeks. Shlomo decides to talk about it. This keeps happening to me. Lately, the synchronicities, it's like there is no separation. And we just experience things in whatever way we're ready to experience it. But there's no, like, separation is an illusion. And it was kind of put upon us on purpose. I'm going to try to look at my notes from time to time and see because I did write all this down. So, yeah. So we're all connected to source. And where we create disease is when we separate from source, when we believe that something is wrong about ourselves. And that goes back to some work that Gabor Mate talks about, where he talks about when I think I talked about this last time, when we're children and we hear our parents fighting or we feel like we're not safe and we make up something about ourselves. Like we couldn't look at our parents and go, they're incompetent. They don't know how to look after us. So instead we make ourselves the problem and then we bury it somewhere inside our bodies. So I know I talked about that last time and I'm coming back to it because it's so very important that we forgive ourselves first and foremost for whatever we made up that wasn't true, but it was the best we could do at the time. And I'll give you an example that happened on the other day for me. I'm doing whatever I'm doing in the kitchen. I live in the middle of nowhere. For those who haven't heard before, I live in the middle of nowhere. My driveway is like 600 feet long. It's up a hill right now with the snow that's 4 feet deep. nobody comes to visit me, right? If they do, I get a phone call first, to make sure, because who knows what I'm going to be up to and if I'll be here. It's a long ways to come for somebody who's not home, right? So, but I hear my dog barking outside, and this is a dog, it's my grandson's dog, and she came very distressed, and it's taken me a couple of years to get her normal. And this year she started communicating with me like dogs normally do. And so she's barking, and I don't pay attention because it's a normal bark, like something's going on. And I don't pay attention. But then her bark changes. And I'm like, okay, something's different. I got to go check. So I go to the window and I see my son at the top of the hill. Like, so the top of the hill is about 50 feet from the house. I don't know what that is in meters. Maybe 150 meters. I'm not sure. But my son is at the top of the hill with my two grandkids. They're 4 and they're 6. And the 4-year-old is not coming up the hill. He's running back to my son. And I'm like, okay, so he runs fast and he runs back. I don't know, right? I have no idea. I just run down the basement. That's where my door is. And I open the door and my grandson's back at the door. My son is there because that's how long it takes me to get down to the door, right? And when I open the door, my 4-year-old grandson says, why didn't you answer the door when I knocked? And I'm like, I did. I just answered the door just before you knocked because I saw you out the window because the dog barked. And he goes, no. He says, no, I knocked and you didn't come and answer the door. And I know at his house, the doors are usually unlocked and you can just walk in and yell. So I'm like, no, I did answer the door. I answered the door for you, right? Because I'm not in his world. And he says, no. He says, why didn't you answer? He says, I knocked. I knocked really loud. I said, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. I have a doorbell. It doesn't work either. I didn't hear you. If I'd have heard you, I would have been here. I would have answered the door for you. And he's like, no. He says, you didn't come. I didn't think about it till later that day. And I realized in his 4-year-old mind, he was looking forward to seeing somebody who loved him unconditionally. And that person wasn't there for him, didn't hear his knock. I told him, I said, if your dad would have phoned me, I'd have been waiting at the door. That went right over his head. He was stuck in the trauma of he wasn't welcomed. He wasn't whatever. I don't know what it was for him. And next time I see him, I'm going to ask him, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? So it was interesting because when my son said, I said, why are you here? Like, are you coming in? He says, no. I said, oh, so what are you doing? He says, I'm going to go make syrup. So he bought a bunch of syrup buckets and spiles and he's going out to the bush in the 4 feet deep snow with all the places you're going to get trapped. He's going out there with the 2 little kids. I'm like, I got things I got to do. I got to call. That was the day that Shlomo was doing the peace prayer. This was a half hour before. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'll see how long the prayer is, but I'm not coming out. My son said, that's fine. We'll only be here for an hour and we'll leave when we're done. We won't bother you. So I come upstairs and I'm looking at the whole list of things I was going to try to get done. And I just said, my son is going through a rough time. I got to go see what's going on. So, I turn off all the heaters in my house and I get dressed and I run out there to the bush, and it's easy to find them through the tracks in the snow. And we had a fabulous day. And I did what I want to do here, the teaching that I want to run on my property for healing the trauma. And I want to do it here. And I did it with them, and I didn't do it intentionally. Things just kept coming up and I kept dealing with them. Like my grandson, the 4-year-old, they're fighting and, they're dealing with drills and hammers and things. And he ends up with a cut on his hand, and it's a shallow cut, but he's really like, when every time you close your hand, you're going to feel it out in the cold. They're not wearing gloves. It's cold, but they're tough. Right. So I show him on my thumb where it's split. Right. A couple of weeks ago, my hands were so bad, like they were just split and bleeding all over the place from the cold and then working on the fires and all this stuff. but they're better. So I do this to him. He says, we're going to heal this. And I kept telling him, we're going to heal this. And he's like, no, we're not. I need a Band-Aid. I go, no, we're going to heal this. So I put my hand over his hand and I go, can you feel the heat? He goes, yeah. I said, well, your body is healing now. He goes, no, I want a Band-Aid. So, okay, whatever. So I wasn't even going to talk about all that. So I'm just going to look at my notes for a minute. So lots of times in life, we know things and we don't know how we know them, right? So that's kind of what I was doing when I was out there with them and different things were coming up. Like, one of them falls into my son's footprints and it's in a hollow between rocks and he goes down 4 feet. He's like, he can't get out. And we just look at him and go, okay, we'll figure it out. You're not going to be stuck there. We'll come back for you later. Figure it out. And he figures it out, right? Because it's snow and you can put one foot on top of the other or build yourself a ladder to get out, right? And it's so I just got to share something I learned about Amsterdam. It's all full of canals. And apparently, when the kids are little, they put them in full winter clothing, boots, coats, everything, and throw them in the canals because there's no fences around the canals. And the kids learn in the winter. I see your face, Bonnie. You know what the cold, right? And it can be deadly, but the kids learn to get out. And so the parents don't have to worry after that. We are more adaptive than we have been taught to be. We have been dumbed down by our education system and all the powers that be that like the alarms that are going off for Shlomo that put him into fear, the conditioning. This is not by accident that they do this. And I'm going to share a video after the class. I didn't want to share it before the class. It's long. And in order to, it's an interview. So you don't have to watch it. You can listen to it. But if you watch it later and you see their faces, it's amazing. This isn't a normal interview for this guy. And I don't know if he knows what he stepped into. Are you guys familiar with Diary of a CEO? Okay. What he steps into in this interview is exactly what we're all going through right now. And you're going to see the way out. And it's what we teach here. And it's what has been coming to me my whole life. And most of my life, I have been afraid, actually, until the last year or so. I've been afraid because what I see things 20 years before they happen and even longer. And who can I tell about that? Everybody thinks I'm crazy and they start telling me to shut up and be quiet and, find ways to make me feel small. And this is the thing. And Nelson Mandela talked about it and Marianne Williams talked about it. We're afraid of our brilliance. And we all are born that way. Like when I see my grandkids born, I was at 3 of the births. And the first one I remember the most because when he was born, and I helped my daughters to have, drug-free births, they don't even experience pain because I know how to teach that. And so the babies are born like relatively not traumatic until after they're born, right? When the nurses grab them and start poking them and doing things to them. So I saw the light in his eyes and I actually saw who he was in his past life and I saw what he was here to do. And he looked at me and he was like, don't tell anybody. Because our first language is vibration, right? And he's like, don't tell anybody. And I was like, okay, I won't say anything, right? I'll respect you. I won't say anything, but I see you. I know you. And I'm here for you. And then it actually took him 6 months to pull a veil over his eyes and shut the light down. He worked so hard on that. He is such a brilliant person. And he's 21. He's now in jail. The judge actually said, we don't know why we have to lock you up, but we didn't know where you were for a long time, so we're locking you up. They don't have charges on him. Like, it's the most insane thing. And I'm realizing he's there for a higher purpose. And I can see it now. I don't want him to have to go through that. But the point of this whole lesson that I did write down somewhere is we have to learn the value of our trauma. We're all going to go through trauma from the time we're born, maybe from in utero, from the moment of conception. We're going to have one trauma after another trauma after another trauma. And it's okay because we're being held by a higher source. We are safe no matter what. We've done the death meditation. We know there's no death. We know that we're safe. And all of this trauma and stress, we don't need the stress, but the stress is short term. It only becomes trauma when we don't let go of it. When we're little and we bury it somewhere in our body for safety, so we can keep going with the people that are looking after us, that don't know how to look after us because they've never seen anything like us. We're so powerful and they don't have the ability yet to handle us. For most of us, I mean, some people are blessed to have parents that know. But even though I knew a lot of things, I didn't know my kids, right? Like I'm looking at them and I'm going, okay, I don't want to pretend that I know who you are. I want to discover you. I want to find out who you are. You're the only one who knows. You know everything about you. And so I'm just going to love you and support you. So they don't feel that that is really love when I do that. They feel that I didn't see this part of them. And then they feel traumatized and they come back later and they say to me, like, well, you didn't do this right and you didn't do that right. And I'm going, okay. And are you old enough for me to tell you what was going on in my life then? But they're not, right? So all of the trauma that we go through, if we look back at it, we'll see that it was there to serve us, to help us get stronger, like my grandson getting himself out of the snow. There's nothing in this life that we can't handle. And it's here for a higher purpose that we maybe haven't seen yet. So what's going on in my neighborhood right now? Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere. When the lockdown happened, some of my neighbors started getting together and they were going to fight the local government. And when I finally heard about the meetings and I started to go, I said, well, rather than fighting the government, which, like, you know, never wrestle with a pig because you both get dirty and the pig loves it, right? So I said, why don't we think about a vision of what we want to create here? There's a bunch of us neighbors. I was going to do the future imagery meditation. And I said, let's create a vision. And instead of worrying about them and what they're doing, because they're going to peter off as things come to light, they're going to disappear into the background. They're going to take all the money they've embezzled and go hide somewhere. So instead, why don't we create what we want to create, regardless of what they're doing? And let's get so powerful and strong in what we're doing that what they're doing is immaterial. And I've seen pockets of this around the world through the lockdown, but I've been seeing this vision my whole life. And I said this over and over and over, and nobody heard me. And finally, I asked for some time. And the person who was organizing it said, okay, we'll give you 15 minutes to talk. Well, I talked for about 5 minutes and I see that I've lost somebody. And I ask, you know, where they're lost, and they tell me. And so I go to address that. And when I'm finished addressing that, because I don't want to move forward without having everybody in paying attention and knowing what I'm talking about. I don't know how good I'm doing here, but I know you guys know all this anyhow. So, so I start to talk after I finish with the one guy who was confused, and the guy who's hosting it starts taking over and telling me that I'm like off track, I'm talking too much, blah, blah, blah. And he talks for 15 minutes and then says, well, your time is up. And I said, oh, can you give me 3 minutes to finish up? So he did. And I basically, you know, reiterated, like, we need a common vision. We need to get cohesive and build something. So I've kind of backed away from the meetings. I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept trying. And it's, I'm not going to waste my time, right? Something will happen. So what's happened is one of the neighbors sent an email out and they want to put in a rapid train rail through here for some reason. So they're going to expropriate people, kick everybody off their land. Some people have lived here. Their families have been here 300 years. They've just moved into family homes. Like I'm one of the newcomers. I've been here 35 years. I'm one of the new people. I'm still new. I still don't fit in. These people have been here, like the first people that took over, right? Like so um these people don't know anything else. Some people have never been more than 20 miles away from there, right? Like this is their whole existence and they want to send them out. And if you think that's not going to cause trauma, they don't care. They're sitting in their office. They've come up with a plan because somebody told them do something, and they don't have a clue what they're doing. Not about the trauma, not about what they're going to do to the land. That's all wildlife, all animals. They have no clue. So I just start coming up with questions, which I send to the person who's hosting the meeting. Because I'm not going to go fight with these people. I'm going to go back to the meeting with more questions. Like, why are they like, what is their purpose? Like what they're saying it's going to create 50,000 jobs. I can think of really great jobs to create for 50,000 people that aren't temporary building a train. Like what the work that we're doing here, we could do this on a bigger scale, right? Like I can think of lots of things for people to make the world a better place. I know what it is a money grab. I've seen this before because we keep repeating all the patterns in history. And until we get to the place where there's more people above that 200 and we're willing to go explore, we're going to keep repeating all these patterns in history. Throwing Christians to the lions and whatever else they do. That's the distractions, the mass distractions that stop people from looking at what's really happening. What's really happening is we're lifting our consciousness. We're going to start building communities. We're going to be stronger than they can deal with. And this is addressed in the video that I'll send you at the end. And I'm just laughing because most of this was nightmares for me trying to figure out. And since coming to SGLA, I'm not seeing the nightmares. I'm seeing the clarity of what's coming and the strength of what's coming. So, everybody's worried about this rapid train coming through. And I'm going, yeah, nobody's getting me off my land. I'm building something bigger now. I understand why they think they're going to do that, but it's not going to happen because it's not part of my vision. And if I can spread my vision around other people, we're stronger than them. They're fear mongers, right? They use fear. So I don't have any time for fear. When something happens, like I hear a bang in my house or something, I go, I wonder what that was. And if I have time, I'll go look. If not, it'll be there when I get there, right? Like, I'll just share one more thing that happened for me. December 17th last year, I opened my wood stove in the basement and I inhaled a ton of smoke and it set off a cascade of health problems to the point where I wasn't sure I was going to live, if I would wake up the next morning. It was a little scary. And I started to do research. What would happen if I went to the doctors? And I saw that path and I said, I'm not going down that path. I have a Healy. It's a frequency device. I started using that a lot. I stopped working on everybody I'm working on. I just worked on me, which I've never done. But I I researched enough to figure out what I was experiencing, basically the effects of being in a place after a fire, like a forest fire, being in that environment. The air's filled with smoke particulates. I'm breathing them in. It's affecting my lungs, my throat, my heart, my circulatory system. But I know what it is. And knowing what it is gets rid of the fear from me, right? few days later, I go to a family party. I haven't seen most of my family in a year. My mother, my brothers. I can barely talk. I can barely walk. I'm very weak. And they ask how I'm doing, and I'm always answer honestly. I go, I'm not good, but I don't want to talk about it because I know their response, go to the hospital, sell your house, stupid things like that, right? So I just for the first time at a family thing, I just kind of sit back and I don't talk and I sit in the corner and I leave early. That's not like me. And then I've shared with you, my daughter told me that she was going to have a vital organ removed that she didn't think was so vital. And I found some help for her. And in finding the help for her, I found help for me. Funny how that works, eh? So everything has shifted in my life since then. And I'm so close to having like just one miracle after the other. And I'm so close, like time wise, to having everything I visualized in my 7-year plan happen this year. And it's when I eventually share it with everybody, it's beyond anything anybody that I've ever talked to can imagine. So it's pretty cool. And it's gonna be beneficial for all of us and everyone. Okay, so yeah, back to the thing about the trauma. There's no mistakes in life, right? Everything that happens for a greater reason that we can't see because we're these little infinite pinpoints on this big planet that's part of something so big we can't even imagine. And it's kind of like as big as you can go out, you can also go into our intestines that have trillions of creatures living inside of us that we've been told are bad for us. They're not, they make us up. And when they're in balance, we're healthy. We can handle all of I found out coronavirus is inside of us, multiple coronaviruses, but it's all in balance. When it's in balance, we're fine. There's nothing to fear. There's absolutely nothing to fear. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I'm thinking that there might be something valuable in my notes that will not bore you. um, okay, so one of the things is we see things about others that we don't see about ourselves, right? Like, and Isabel, you've mentioned this a lot, that you can't see something good in somebody else unless it's already in you. But we also project the things we don't like on other people, right? Like we'll look for the negative things in other people. And this, I think, is part of our ego trying to protect us. Like when something happened when we were little and it wasn't something we understood and it made us feel uncomfortable. And so we buried it somewhere in our body. And we don't look at it again, sometimes because we're so little when it happened, we don't remember. And sometimes because it was so tragic or life-threatening in our minds that it got buried really deep. And we don't want to see that about ourselves. And so when we see it in someone else, we go, that's you. You're bad. You're wrong. But it's not. It's something inside ourselves that they've touched so that it's ready to come out now, or we wouldn't be seeing that in somebody else. So it's a time to look inside. Is why is that stuck in me? Where does that live in me? And how can I find it and let it go? Right? Because we're like you were saying, Isabel, energy is supposed to be in motion. And when it's not in motion, when it's stuck inside our body, it ends up creating that hard spot that becomes disease. And it becomes that because it's trying to let us know that it's time to be released. But if we don't see it because we have distractions and addictions, then it's going to get worse and worse and worse until we finally acknowledge we have a problem. And if we run to the medical profession, they're going to just cover it up with more things that have side effects and more things, more ways for them to make money. But if we're willing to go inside and look at it, we can find that spot that we didn't understand, like my grandson, why didn't you answer the door? I thought you loved me. Why didn't you answer the door? You rejected me. So we'll be able to see that and let it go. This is all really good, but I don't know if I want to go into this right now. I think what I want to do is give you an example of, are you raising your hand, Elizabeth? Okay.
You said many important things, but I noticed a specific thing you said about patterns and how we're repeating the patterns from the past. And it's on a personal level, but also on a collective level. And I just wondered your reflections on how to change the patterns, change the beliefs and the behavior on a collective level, and whether we obviously we work on a personal level, but do we also, and here we are working on a collective level, but how do we bring this out into the community in a way that actually works? I don't know. It's a really big question. I'm not asking you to answer it. I'm just opening it up.
So what I've learned in the last month or so is when I work on myself, it affects everybody else. Like when you throw a stone in the pond and it ripples. To me, this is what the Akashic records are. It's not like it's carved in stone because you can always throw another stone in and create another ripple. It is a record of everything that has happened. And the only thing you can do, and we're going to do a bit of this about the record of the past, is go back and see it from a different point of view. Because what we made it mean back then with our limited, so this is also important. Like we're developmental, right? Like we're exploring, we're developmental. When we start out, we're infinite beings, and we know everything when we're born, but we've shut ourselves down to fit into the environment that we're in and our basic needs, because it takes a good 6 months for our parents to be able to actually meet our basic needs, to learn who we are and how we function. Like it's a big adjustment for our parents to have this dominant being, this tiny little dominant being in our house with real needs that it can't express in language, can only express by, either our parents are attuned to us. Most cases they're not. And we have to figure out how to get our needs met. And we have to get really loud sometimes to get our needs met, just like the emotion that's stuck in our body that has to get really loud. Like, so everything is repetitive, right? Like you throw the stone in and you get these concentric circles. Like there's everything all through life. This is why I say, like, you can go out and see how big the universe is. You can go in and see how small it is. Everything in nature is like that. And the journey I'm going to take you on today is in nature, even sitting here. So to answer your question as quickly as I can, when I work on myself, I start seeing the miracles happening around me. And the more we can help people to do this work that we learn in SGLA, because what Shlomo's put together is so brilliant, right? And I actually wrote something down about that. But when we can do our work and heal ourselves, we start shining differently. And people who are ready, like the miracles I've had in the last even 2 days, have blown me away. Things that I've been praying for years are just dropping into my lap. And I'm able to help people who previously told me, like, go away, you're full of crap, are now coming and saying, okay, help me. And I can see the future for them. And it's like my heart just explodes, right? It's like beautiful. I'll tell you what I wrote about Shlomo. So the word alive, the live part of it spelled backwards, you know, never mind, I'm not going to go there. Shlomo's helping us to come alive, to really come alive. And you think about what it takes to become a lawyer. It's not an easy thing to become a lawyer, which you have to memorize. It's huge. It's daunting. It's probably worse than becoming a doctor because a lot of the things are not good things that you have to memorize. It's how people take power over each other, right? You got to memorize all these horrible things. And then he went on to be a judge to try to make the world a better place, only to find out it's a system that is designed to be in power, not to help anybody, to make sure nobody gets out and changes anything. It's a system to support the system. And then to go to work as a government lawyer, thinking there I'll have some power, and finding out it's more of the same. So you have to look at this incredible, brilliant man who decided that, like, this isn't the way it's going to work. I'm going to do something better. I'm going to go around them. I'm going to create something that's going to work for the world, and to have the patience for all the people who have come to SGLA and got what they needed, but didn't stay to create the vision. And we're here to create the vision. And there's a lot of people who have come here and taken what they needed for their life, and they've gone and they've done it in their own way, which is fabulous. We're not all the same. We don't have to all do the same thing. But I think the core that we're creating and how we're going to expand this is vital to everything that's going to happen. So I didn't create a formal meditation. I created something a little bit different. I didn't actually create it. I've just had conversations with myself. So what I want you to do first is put your feet on the ground and feel whatever is supporting your feet. Just feel your feet and feel your toes and your heels and the outside of your foot, and feel the gap between arch and that space, and just feel your foot, and it's supported. And then feel your butt being supported however it's being supported, and feel your back. And just like we did today with the shoulder exercise, move your shoulders around, move your back around, kind of find out where your center is. Relax it a bit, find your center, stretch, move around. And I don't know if I told you to close your eyes, but close your eyes and feel your spine elongating, feel your head being supported by a magic little thread that's going up from just behind your crown. If it was going straight up from your spine, just behind your crown, and it's being supported. So you can kind of feel like a puppet, loose, but your feet are still on the ground. And take a deep breath into your belly. Hold it there for a minute. Hold it. Swish that air around your belly and let it drop into the ground, down to the ground. Take another deep breath from your heart into your lungs, into your belly. And again, swish it around in your belly, moving your back a little bit. Let it swish around. Let it drop into the ground. We're feeding the earth. Now, I want you to imagine you're going to go for a walk with me. You're going to come to the entrance of my property. You're going to look up this hill, this big hill. See, my house is at the top of the hill, but we're not going there. We're going to take a walk through the field. And it's really interesting. I mean, it would be really nice if the grass was cut and it was normal, but it's not normal. This place is a little bit wild. So I'm going to tell you that this is the path. You're going to notice where there's grass trampled down, but I'm telling you, it's a path. And I'm telling you, I have plants planted on the sides. All you can see is weeds everywhere, but every once in a while I'll move some of the weeds away and you'll see beautiful flowers growing under the weeds. It's kind of an interesting place. You can feel the energy here. You can feel the magic that's here, but it's like not anything you've seen before because everywhere that most people go, it's manicured and this place isn't. And yet I'm telling you, it's all planted like everywhere. Don't step off the path. It's all planted. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy because what do you mean it's all planted? All I see is weeds. And then I start telling you what the weeds are for. And then you start looking at the weeds differently because as I tell you that this weed is helps with this and this weed helps with that, you start to look at it differently. And now you're starting to see the beauty and the perfection in the weeds, and you're starting to see the patterns of the plants, like how they're woven together, like how they're harmoniously helping each other. And you're feeling my excitement because I'm so happy to have you here and share this incredible wilderness that's my home, that is home to so many birds and bugs. You know, people go out to their garden and to be in the silence, the quiet. But when you come out to my garden, you stop and you listen. It is the noisiest place you could ever imagine. The sound of the birds that never stops, or the bugs, or the frogs. And it's just everything growing here. It's alive. So now I'm going to ask you to start exploring on your own. You know, like we could walk out to the woods. You know, we could go to the woods where the weeds aren't so high and there's different flowers growing. You know, they're not so high because the leaves have fallen. And when the leaves fall and they compact the ground, it makes it so that there's less growing and you can start to see things a little easier. And you can see rocks poking out all over the place and a variety of trees at different stages of growth. So maybe we could walk over to a tree, pick a tree, and let's walk over to the tree. And maybe you want to hug the tree. Maybe you just want to look at it and talk to it. But just feel the energy of the tree. And maybe you want to sit down for a minute with your back to the tree. And as you do that, you'll notice the energy coming up through the ground, into your legs, into your butt, up your spine. And you'll notice the energy of the tree on your back. And if you can relax into it, you can actually feel the tree hugging you. And you can really feel what it feels like to be grounded in that one spot since the time it was a seed, grounded in that one spot, seeing the world, seeing the wind, feeling the wind, the rain, all of the seasons, all of the stress on it as it grows. Some of the stress makes it drop limbs, leaves, but it's rooted and it's going to keep growing. So let's stay here for a second and go inside of ourselves. Let's go back as far as we can go back. Maybe you can go back to your conception. Maybe you can go back to feelings you had in utero. It's not really important to remember them. It's just important to know they're still there. They're accessible. You can even go back before your conception through the timeline when you were an egg in your mother, when you were an egg in your grandmother. You can go back through all of it. But for now, we're going to start with your birth and what happened right after birth. So imagine that you are being pushed out of your mother, and you can feel the contractions pushing you through, and you're now out. And if you're lucky, your mother gets to hold you and put you near her heart. And if that didn't happen, that's okay, because your mother's in the room and you're strong. This is probably the strongest you'll ever be in your life. So whatever happens, it's all good. It's going to be something you can come back to later. For now, we're going to keep growing. If you're lucky, you got to nurse from your mother. If not, it's okay. You got everything you needed. Everything you needed has been provided for you. And how do we know this? Because you're here. So we're going to continue to grow. When you're pre-verbal, when you're little and you don't know how to communicate your needs sometimes, other than to get what feels like really violent, to scream, to yell, it's not pleasant. And I'm sure we've all had at least one experience of that, even if it's just being physically hurt and screaming. All of these memories have created some trauma, and we can go back to them another time. And we can go back to them in one fell swoop and eliminate them, because they all came from the original pains. We don't have to remember each one. So go back to one of the earliest memories that you had. First, go back to a pleasant memory. Go back to a memory where you absolutely felt totally loved by someone or something, you know. If it's not a person, it could be a place or a feeling. But find something that really, really lit you up, because you know you are so special. You know that in this one time, the world loves you. And I want you to hold on to that. I want you to take that feeling and tuck it into your heart right now. Just put it inside your heart. We're going to go to another feeling that happened that we can remember that wasn't so good. And it doesn't have to be really, really bad. It can just be sometime where we disconnected and we weren't sure how to get back. And we don't know what it meant. But we made up something about it, about ourselves. And that's what I want you to feel. Feel where that part lives in your body. Feel where you put that inside your body somewhere. And be okay with feeling that feeling. And just like the stone ripples, that feeling has had a ripple through your body. So don't just feel the spot, feel the ripple. Feel all the ways that ripple, all the feelings, all the thoughts, all the emotions that have come from that one experience. And I know that they're scary, but you're here, you're grounded, your feet, your butt, you're not going anywhere. It's just a conversation we're having and feelings that you're having. So it's safe to feel them. And really, really, really feel them. And if you can find out what they're telling you about what happened. That's awesome. If you can find that, I want you to look at what else was going on at that time. What were the people around you doing? What were they thinking or saying to you that had you experience that? And once you've seen that, look at who they are, whether it's your mother, your father, or someone else close to you. See that they're saying what they're saying out of frustration and fear, powerlessness. And it goes back to their childhood and their traumas and their fears, like the conditioning that we've all experienced. It's just their alarms are going off and they don't know how to deal with it other than to say what they say and do what they do. And you end up with the feeling that you have, that you've buried. And now that you've looked at that and you see the bigger picture, the context of where that came from and why it got buried in you because you didn't have a way to deal with it at the time, can you look at yourself, from the outside, from the bird's eye view, and see that little you and see that you were doing the best you could with what you had in that moment, with all of the distortions and confusion around you? The safest thing for you to do was to bury that thing that didn't make any sense to you, that you didn't have the support to deal with. You did the best you could. You put it somewhere safe where you could go back later and get it when it was time, when you had the tools and the ability. Now is the time. And now give yourself a really big hug because you've been carrying that a long time, that burden you have been carrying a long time, not just for you, but for your family that couldn't help you at the time or whoever it was that couldn't help you. You've been doing really great work in your world, carrying that heavy burden. And now that you understand it, it's gone. It's not the same as it was. You have actually released it by doing the deep work and going in and looking at it. And looking at it from all angles. And anything that we haven't covered just in this short time, you can go back and do it again and again and again. It's not going anywhere until you look at it, until you see it as fully as you can and you love it. And you are safe now to do this. You couldn't be in a safer place to do this. And the universe is now supporting you in doing this. Everything in the whole universe is ripe and ready for you to do this. And the signs are everywhere. And you will start to see the signs everywhere of how you are supported and how this is the time to clean up everything that's not serving you so that you can be the light that's going to shine to speedily bring about the transformation that's already started on this planet. And we're a big part of it. So I want to thank you for doing this work. And I want to bring you back to your chair. You can bring my garden with you, my wild garden with you. There's nothing to be afraid of. We are loved and supported by each other and the whole universe, and way beyond everything we call the universe that we don't even understand. So once again, feel your butt in the chair or whatever you're supported by. Feel your feet on the ground. Press your feet into the ground. And straighten out your spine. Press your butt into the seat. Stretch. Stretch and stretch and stretch. And wiggle and stretch. And look at the ground with your eyes closed. When you're ready, open your eyes. And when you're ready, look up at the screen. I get so excited when I see the light come on in people's eyes. And I never know how it's going to happen, but I'm always looking for it. When I go out in public, like when I go out shopping, I only go out once a week. And for me, it's an adventure. Who am I going to get to talk to today? Who am I going to get to plant a seed in? And sometimes, we have this great conversation, like I think they're really ripe for it. And after the conversation, they kind of look like, oh, you opened up something in me I'm not ready to see. And I go, that's okay. That's okay. Take the seed, go, enjoy. Sometimes we exchange phone numbers and they call me later. I have no idea how it's going to happen. I'm just exploring. Feel free to be that little kid that goes exploring every day.
Okay. Thank you, Abby. I have to go now to the shelter.
Oh, okay.
Right to everybody. Seeing you soon. I'm leaving the Zoom open so you can continue.
Okay. I after my son and my grandsons left, and I came in and got into the meditation. I wasn't sure if it would still be here, but I came into the meditation and I saw drawing a blank now. I see her face, but I'm drawing a blank on her name. I saw her doing the meditation, and so I just dropped into the meditation, and she was talking about creating peace, and I'm like, no, we have peace. We have peace right now. I see people from different countries planting olive trees together. I see them looking in each other's eyes and sharing tools and talking and laughing together as they dig a hole together, as they put a tree in together, as they bury it together, as they water it together, as they smile at each other, as they hug each other. I see this happening all over, and I see it in not just in these two countries, but all over the world. People are doing this together. And then afterwards, these communities that are getting together and planting trees, whatever tree is growing in their country afterwards. But I saw this at this time in the Middle East. After this happened, they went to a big feast that the people who weren't planting trees were making this big feast. They were all making their native dishes. And now they're all sitting around tables or sitting on the ground, and they're sharing these meals, these delicious dishes with each other, with people that they don't even speak the same language, but it doesn't matter. In their hearts, the love is there, and the gratitude for the ability to be able to get to know each other, to be able to share this land and to learn from each other and to experience what life is going to bring them as they grow together and share everything together. This is what I see. I see that we're going to learn from our children, we're going to learn from our elders, and we're going to learn from each other without even knowing the language, because it's all about the vibration of love. And it's all about the beauty that's out there, the beauty that's in everything, in the weeds, in all of the problems that we have. Everything is perfect. Everything is for the greater good of all. And we will never understand this in this finite bodies that we have, and that's okay. We don't need to understand it. We just need to experience it and feel it and love it. And just be grateful. Be grateful for everything that comes, no matter. So what I'm saying now, when something happens that I don't understand, that's a little bit discomforting, I go, how is this good for me? What is this bringing me? How is this in my best interest? And it shows up. So I am trembling here with excitement. which is our natural state, right? We should be vibrating with excitement all the time. And anything you want to share, I'd love to hear and share with everybody here.
Abby, thank you, thank you, thank you for helping us weave that golden web. The energy was just so high and beautiful. I think your words in combination with all the energy that we were sending to Shlomo into his area, it was just a perfect, harmonious blend. And I'm deeply grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for receiving that and sharing your words. Thank you. I love you. You will. No meeting, Isabel.
No, sorry. I spaced out. I wrote in my calendar twice.
It's all good. It's all
I
good.
enjoy so much to be with you, and I wrote extra. Now I have to go out with her. She's here making some sounds.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abby. It was wonderful. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Amazing, Abby. Amazing.
Now I'm going to look at my notes and see if I can make sense of them.
You made sense of them. You made sense of them. Everything was perfect.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. You are positively glowing with love. You have to watch the video again when you're coming out of that meditation, and you look, well, you do look beautiful, but you looked extra beautiful, and certainly in that vibration of love. And I think that was a very important meditation which you did. It super resonated with me.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
It was full
Yeah.
circle with the talk about your grandson and how he was feeling in that moment. That's the feeling like we all have when we're not seen or heard, or when we misinterpret what's going on.
Yeah, and we carry all those moments all the time. And then we try to have conversations. So one of the things I noticed, like when I talk to people and I've gone too far, like I've brought up some trauma for them, and I've noticed in myself a protection that I put out where I go back into my pattern of pushing people away. And I saw where I did this with somebody yesterday, and it wasn't, I saw them and I saw me where we both did that. And so we talk to each other from these walls, right? From behind the walls of protection. So it's so important that we learn to let go of that, all those layers of protection, so we can actually be free with each other. And it's going to take a long time, I think. So I think it's important to recognize that that's where people are coming from and not to take it personal, right? To recognize that they're just feeling that. Thank you, Charlotte. I love you guys so much.
Love you too. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. I can't wait to see what we're going to create as a group. It's going to be awesome. Thank you. Is there anything else for you?
Nope. It was great. It really was. I think it was an important lesson. Thank you. And it would be to delve deeper into it, maybe at another stage, or to review it. And I'm curious to see all these miracles that are going to happen around me.
Oh, yeah. Please share them with me, okay?
I will do.
Just even a short note, just like,
okay,
this just happened, this just happened. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.